He has, according to reports, at least 150 homes. He owns almost 20 aircraft. He has something like 7,000 to 9,000 cars.
Welcome to Money Vision. Today we are breaking down how the Sultan of Brunei spends his billions. The Sultan of Brunei, Hassanal Bolkiah, is the 29th to ascend to his throne. Though highly criticized around the world for his extreme ruling style, many have grown fascinated by his exuberant spending. So let's get into it. Number 9. History. The Sultan was born on July 15, 1946, in a small Brunei town as the Crown Prince, Hassanal Bolkiah. The Sultan received high school education at Victoria Institution in Kuala Lumpur, after which he attended the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst in the United Kingdom before graduating in 1967. At one point, the richest man on the planet was worth as much as $40 billion. Hassanal Bolkiah's exploits included reportedly racing Ferraris at midnight through Brunei's capital, commissioning a 1,788-room palace, and spending $20,000 simply to get a haircut. While Brunei is among the smallest nations in the world, its leader is among the richest of anyone, anywhere. Bolkiah isn't just a rich man, he is also royalty. In fact, Bolkiah is among the last absolute monarchs on the planet. Among his ranks include the King of Swaziland and Bahrain. Now, Bolkiah is among 10 siblings who could have been chosen to ascend to the throne. Of course, it was him at the end of the day who was chosen by his father decades ago. Under Brunei's 1959 constitution, the Sultan is the head of state with full executive authority, including emergency powers since 1962. On March 9, 2006, the Sultan was reported to have amended Brunei's constitution to make himself infallible under Bruneian law. Bolkiah, as Prime Minister, is also the head of government. In addition, he currently holds the portfolios of Minister of Defense, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and Minister of Finance. As Minister of Defense, he is therefore the Supreme Commander of the Royal Brunei Armed Forces, as well as an honorary general in the British and Indonesian Armed Forces and an honorary admiral in the Royal Navy. He appointed himself as Inspector General of Police of the Royal Brunei Police Force. Thanks to Brunei's huge oil reserves, Bolkiah was the richest man in the world from the mid-1980s until the 1990s. Many of the country's oil reserves are sold to Shell and distributed around the world. Eventually, Bolkiah lost his crown to Microsoft founder Bill Gates late in the 1990s. Number 8. Zoo. While Bolkiah tries to keep many of his purchases private, many are just so insane that it's impossible to keep them hidden from reporters or other investigators. In fact, one such example is that Bolkiah commissioned his own private zoo. Inside, there are 30 Bengal tigers amongst a number of other exotic animals. The Sultan entertains world leaders who visit Brunei with shows at the zoo. The zoo contains falcons, flamingos, and cockatoos which can play basketball, ride bikes, sing, talk, and imitate other animals. The Sultan zookeeper told the Bangkok Post. Number 7. Golf. Bolkiah is known by his royal friends around the world to be an avid golfer. In fact, he was so obsessed with the sport that he took his love of the game to a whole other level. Years back, Bolkiah got the world's most successful golfer ever, Jack Nicklaus, to design a golf course for him at one of his hotels. Of course, these kinds of purchases didn't go without trouble. Number 6. Prince Troubles. Historically, Bolkiah has slowly transformed how he spends his money. As he has gotten older, he has taken the head of state role a bit more seriously and has had to deal with his Prince Geoffrey's insatiable appetite for luxury. Geoffrey was initially finance minister for much of the 1980s and 1990s and was known to spend tens of billions of dollars of the Crown Estate's money funding an even more lavish lifestyle than his brother. He was sacked as a minister by the Sultan in 1997, who accused him of embezzling as much as $16 billion. He was sacked as a minister by the Sultan in 1997, who accused him of embezzling as much as $16 billion. Amongst the billions of dollars spent were Geoffrey's 150-foot yacht. Once Geoffrey lost his position, the yacht was also seized by the Sultan. This also included 2 smaller boats used to ferry passengers to and from the massive yacht. Prince Geoffrey's remaining assets were sold off by the Crown in a 2001 auction. CNN reported that it took 6 days to sell off over 10,000 items. The auction included, CNN said, one 8-foot bronze Trojan horse, several jacuzzis covered in gold plates, several statues of flamingos, a Comanche helicopter simulator, a plane, and an F1 race car. Number 5. Independence Day. In 1984, Brunei gained formal independence from the UK, and Bolkiah wanted to mark the occasion like never before. To celebrate, he commissioned a $600 million palace known as Istana Nurul Iman. It included a garage with a space for 800 cars, and the 1,778-room palace covers an estimated 2.2 million square feet, or 50 acres, and it was designed by architect Leandro Loxon. The palace was named as the world's largest residential palace by Guinness World Records. It boasts 57 bathrooms and a huge, lavish throne room. Around that same time, Bolkiah paid $70 million for this oil painting, Young Girls at the Piano, by French impressionist Pierre-Auguste Renoir. The purchase shocked the art world at the time, and at the time, the buy went down as one of the biggest in art history. Number 4. Car collection. Bolkiah has 500 Rolls-Royces and shares a collection of over 5,000 cars with Prince Jeffrey. When they were younger, the pair reportedly raced Ferrari supercars through Brunei's capital Bandar Seri Begawan in the middle of the night. During the 1990s, the Sultan's family reportedly accounted for almost half of all Rolls-Royce purchases in the world. In fact, years later, Bolkiah was awarded the Guinness World Record for the largest Rolls-Royce collection in 2011. Bolkiah owns many more cars with a combined worth of $4 billion, including the 500 Rolls-Royces. The massive collection includes a Lamborghini LP640, a Bentley Continental R, a Ferrari Mythos concept car, both of the Ferrari 456 GT sedans, the only right-hand drive Mercedes-Benz CLK GTR in the world, and 5 McLaren F1s. The Sultan's Gold Royal Wedding Rolls-Royce is one of a kind, with an open top and platform for an umbrella bearer. Bolkiah divorced his second wife in 2003 and became furious and humiliated when reports emerged that she had been tricked out of $2.7 million by a fortune teller. Number 3. Haircuts. The Sultan claims he has to spend like a royalty to look like it. That's why Bolkiah is able to use his money for a special haircut. Bolkiah did not lose his penchant for excess even as he aged. He still often spends $20,000 for a single haircut. The Times reported that Bolkiah flies out his favorite barber from London, where he works at the Dorchester Hotel in Mayfair. He goes regularly, sometimes every 3 or 4 weeks. The Sultan flies him first class at a cost of about $12,000. Everything is paid for: hotel, luxury food. It's a case of just keep signing, that's all. The barber is then given an envelope with thousands of dollars in it, the Times said. Number 2. Airplanes. Speaking of flights, the Sultan got so sick and tired of flying around in chartered airplanes that he purchased his own Boeing 747. It cost at least $400 million and was kitted out with $120 million worth of accessories, like solid gold wash basins. That's not even mentioning the unbelievable cost of gas, but of course, when you own your own oil wells, you can probably afford to pump your own gas. That's not the only shocking thing, though, about this purchase. Bolkiah is known to fly his own jumbo jet on state trips abroad. He's often caught behind the controls of his Boeing 747 and definitely likes it that way. Amongst Bolkiah's children, there is one daughter he seems to especially favor. Years back, the Sultan reportedly gave his daughter an Airbus A340 for her birthday. Unlike him, she prefers to leave the flying to the professionals when she decides to visit friends for royal sleepovers around the world. The Sultan also owns and operates 6 smaller aircraft of varying sizes. Number 1. Hotels. Back in 1999, Fortune magazine did a profile of the Sultan, which highlighted his stay in one of the U.S. hotels that he owns. Records from one North American hotel in 1995 showed the Sultan's party using more than 100 rooms in 4 days, racking up a bill that topped $1 million. Generally, the royals rent entire floors of hotels and don't venture downstairs until checkout day. Bolkiah owns and operates the Brunei Investment Company, which owns 9 hotels across the US and Europe. These properties are some of the most lavish and expensive hotels in the world, including the Beverly Hills Hotel, the Plaza Athénée, and Le Meurice in Paris, the Dorchester and a 45 Park Lane in London, and the Hotel Eden in Rome. A few years ago, the Sultan faced a criticism from Western leaders and celebrities who called Bolkiah out for his new law. Bolkiah has billions of dollars and clearly likes to buy certain things, but if you had that kind of money, what would you spend it on? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, if you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content. This has been our breakdown of how the Sultan of Brunei spends his billions. Have a good one.